Good morning, guys. I just hopped in this. This is a possible dead cat. It's trying to break 5 right now. It's been slowly rebounding. Let's see if it can break over 5 here and keep climbing. It's trying to get back over the 9. See, it supports at 475, so 475 doesn't hold up. I'll probably get out there because it could keep dumping, but 475 is trying to hold up. And it's really struggling with 5. I should have waited, but it looked like it was going to break 5 there for a second, so I just hopped in real quick. The low was 480. It's showing there. As you can see, it keeps trying to test this $5 area. There's not really any resistance all the way up to 870 because of how low the stock dropped. Big panic sell off because their trials didn't work out. It needs to break 5 soon though. It needs to get over and start holding 5 as support. You can see a lot of sellers there on the level 2 trying to hold it down at 5. And testing 5 again. There we go. Starting to break through a little bit. So where's the top of this at? 525. What's up, One Life? Good morning. So yeah, now we want to see 5 start holding that support. And then we can just ride this guy out. 5 cracked there. Still struggling to get over 5. I don't know how much it could skyrocket, but it's a dead cat bounce. It was all the way up at $23 yesterday, and now it's down at $4.80. So if which it's been having buy and come back into it. So it could get, people trying to buy back into it on this panic sell. But really needs to hold up this 480 area. Doesn't need to drop any lower than that. I may even put a stop loss in. 470, 479. But it's pretty low float. But I mean, it's way oversold. That's the thing. Like, the news isn't that terrible. It's not like the stock is going out of business. They just didn't meet their endpoints on their trials for whatever their drug was. So the question is that worth it dropping, almost $20? Although it looks like it may crack here. I'm going to go ahead and put a stop loss in just in case it turns around on me real fast, because if it drops below 480, I want to be out. I'm not going to risk much more than that. And it's struggling. Oh yeah, and see there it cracked hard. So that's why I wanted to make sure I had that stop loss under 480, because it was very low float. So $5 is going to be tough. If it can get back up in that area and break, then it might start moving back up. But for now, it's selling off again. See, a lot of the buying kind of already happened in pre-market there. It was all the way down at 370, and it made it all the way back up to 5. So it was like $1.30 there. But I was looking forward to, break 5 and get up to the $7 area right there, because there's no resistance. That would have been next resistance after that $7 area, or after that $5 area. Sometimes these dead cats work out really well, sometimes they don't. Let's see what Y10's doing. Well, Y10 got halted. Would have been hard to get in this before the halt, really, because there's not really a pattern at that moment. It just kind of broke this downtrend on the 1 minute. So that'll probably be a little halt fest. VISL popping up. No volume in pre-market. Let's see. It's running into some resistance right here in this 150 area. Trying to see, it does have room up to 2 if it can break this area, but 2 will probably be pretty tough as well. I just didn't see much in the small caps, so that's why I just went ahead and hopped in on this when it started breaking 5. But like I said, I did jump the gun a little bit. I could have waited it out a little bit longer. PRPL, this popped up. I got a few kind of mid-cap stocks on my list, because we just not seen much in the small cap world this week. But we are seeing a little bit of moves on Y10 and VISL so far. Let's see, SPY back over 342, still rebounding. And sometimes on these dead cats, it doesn't happen the first day. It may be the second or third day. Or it can be later on in the day today when this could move back up over 5. Just never really know. A lot of times I like to look for a pattern like a U shape or a triangle or something. And it didn't have neither of those. I just jumped the gun because it was getting this buying volume slowly building up. Let's see, Y10's unhalted. Let's see what it does. So it unhalted, popped all the way up to the downtrend, and you can see just hit off that downtrend and selling completely off now. Does look like it's trying to build some support at 7. If it cracks below 7, it's probably done. See, VISL struggling right now as well. So we got some quick pops out the gate on a couple of things, but they're pulling back at the moment. I mean, you could possibly have looked for an entry right here above 7. Just had your stop loss below 7. Because there was 40 cents right there to get already, but still you're buying under the downtrend. See, it's kind of tricky on this if you're trying to play the downtrend, because the downtrend's all the way up at 833, and if this moves from 7 to 833, there's going to be a lot of profit taken. That's a whole $1.33 move just to get to the downtrend, which, you know, you see that it hit the downtrend and of course sold right off after that run up. So really, you just gotta kind of weigh out your options on this if you're interested in it. Because then if you do wait for the downtrend to break, and then it's a fake out breakout, you know, this can drop pretty hard back down. See, STSA just broke the downtrend here. Slowly coming back up to that $5 area. Let's see. Yeah, that broke the downtrend. Looks like it's going to try to test 5 again. Yeah, now it's breaking through 5 again. Let's see if it can get through here. Cutting right through all that resistance, but still getting held up. That $5 is a tough area. So I'm gonna flip back over here, give that a second because it's going to consolidate for a second. Got a little Got a flag starting to form here on VISL. Could be a possible play if it breaks up out of this flag. I kind of like it, because even if you get in right here at this 150 area and the flag cracks, it's still going to have some buying support at the 9 there, so you got decent support. Although I don't like these upper shadows. These upper shadows on this 5 minutes not very nice. Let's see where this 5 minute candle closes at. There might be a possible play here. Some selling at 155. 155 is holding it up. If I see 155 start breaking down, I might go. And like I said, it's got room to. I'm gonna go 155 slowly starting to break. Still holding up though. A bit more sellers still sitting there. We'll see. We'll see what happens here. It's a pretty low float. But it is getting held up in this triangle still. But this isn't a bad setup. It just needs to break. I thought it was going to break there for a second. I misjudged that, but let's see, this triangle's getting pretty tight. Yeah, the small cap market's just not been that hot lately. How's VISL or YTEN? YTN's up to $8, so that did break. It did break up. And VISL may crack this flag. Yeah, I misjudged that. It looked like 155 was starting to break, but it didn't break like I thought it was going to. Volume is kind of light on this too right at the moment. That's the other thing that's concerning. Yeah, starting to crack out of this flag a little bit. 150 doesn't hold. This flag's going to be done with. But like I said, the 9's still at 145, so there's some support there. Let's see what happens. Damn, that's twice I've jumped the gun today. I gotta slow my roll here. I mean, it's looking weak at the moment. It definitely is looking weak at the moment. But like I said, if 150 can hold up. Mm, 150 starting to act as resistance now, so this is probably going to pull back to the 9. Yeah, the flag's cracking down now. Take that bottom out. Let's see if this 9 holds up. I'm willing to hold it as long as the 9 holds up. I don't want to drop below 145 though. And you see there's some buyers right there come in holding it up above the 9 for now. It's getting held up by this 9 EMA on the daily chart. That's right where 150 is. Support here is starting to get taken out, so this may be done. Needs to hold up. And see, Y10's all the way back down at 720. That's such a sketchy stock. Thing I don't like is where's the volume going on this? The volume is really getting light. Kind of out of nowhere. I wouldn't justify bag holding any stock. Bag holding just gets you in trouble. I'm definitely not going to bag hold this. If 145 starts cracking, if this 9 starts pointing downwards, then I'm getting out of it. But this is why I like the setup, because even if the flag cracked, you still had this 9 EMA support right below it, and this bottom of this candle at that 146. It still kind of is a flag, really. Especially if that 146 holds. But if that can hold and it can get back up and start testing 150, get back over 150, then it's still going to be still a possible play. It does need some buy volume to come back in. The volume's getting real light on this. Got 2 minutes here for this 5-minute candle to close. I just want to see it close over 146. Yeah, I mean that's why I was going with STSA, because it wasn't, it was up in the $20 range yesterday, so I wouldn't really consider it that. I mean, it is a small cap because it's very low float, but I thought maybe because it was a higher price stock at dead cap might work out, which you can see it is starting to climb back up now. It's gotten over 5. I jumped the gun on that one. If I'd have waited that out, that might have been a good play if it keeps climbing. I'm still struggling to hold 5 though. Let's see, we're starting to test this 150 area and this downtrend on VISL, so we may still be alive on this. But it needs to break this downtrend. It's stuck right at the downtrend. And then it needs to break 155. That was a good open. That candle opened right above the downtrend. We need to see 150 hold. Start testing 155 here soon. One fifty's trying to hold. Some buyers there. Yeah, it's pulled back, but it didn't pull back that much yet. There's still a possibility that this could move some more. I want to check YTE and see, this is what I was saying about this downtrend break on YTE, and it did exactly what I said. It might push all the way up from that $7 area. So if you're waiting to try to play this downtrend break, you may get a fake out breakout and then get dumped on. That's why that was real sketchy. That's why I didn't want to pay too much attention to it. It was a tricky play to play. I mean, there's money there to get. That's what I was saying. If you got at the $7 area, you're buying at a possible support area for the run up to the downtrend, which is resistance. But you are buying under the downtrend, so the entries on that kind of real tricky to balance out. We're dropping back down here. Let's see, maybe I gotta adjust this downtrend on the 5-minute instead of the 1. I said we just want to see. We want to make sure as long as 146 holds up. STSA testing up as 5 again, building higher lows on this new little trend. So we rejected off the downtrend on that little move back up. Oh, stop, Daniel B. Look there, STSA climbing back up again. May test this high a day here at 525. Yeah, testing it right now. I'm just going to put a stop loss in at 144. If it cracks 146, I'm just going to be out of it. I'm not going to hold it any longer than that. There it goes. Pushing up to 530. The old dead cat. See, that's why you gotta be patient. I jumped the gun on this play out the gate, and I should have waited for it out the gate and gave it a little time to see which way it was gonna continually move. The old dead cat. Buying at open is always risky. It's a lot better to give stocks time to figure out what they're going to do. Because, I mean, if something rips out the gate and you miss it, whatever. But they can just as easily dip on you, and then, you're out, especially when you're on a cash account and you don't have a ton of trades to make. It's a lot better to be patient. So learn from that mistake that I made today. And it may not run anymore, but still, that was a potential for an easy 30 cents at least there. Although it is above the 9 now. So as long as it holds up, it may keep moving. What are you on today, DB? You were trash talking already. We're 30 minutes in and you're already trash talking. Look at there, 536, 530, 545. Yeah, the old dead cat. Well, it's good to see this dead cat's working out, even though I'm not in it and I screwed the pooch on it. I'm glad that it is working out. Oh, stop it. All the way up to 550 looks like. They got to 549 there. I'm trying to get back over 150 in this downtrend right now. Some sellers at 152. We're really going to need some buying volume to come push through this. Let's see. Y10 bouncing up again. So, I mean, you could have just played the $7 support on this and just got these bounces off of $7 and did pretty good with Y10. Looks like it may try to break the downtrend another time. Here we go. VISL starting to move a little bit. Let's see if it can break over at 155 here and actually get moving. Let me look at this support and resistance a little bit before, just if it does start breaking. Let's see, 165. That's close to the pre-market, or not pre-market, but that's close to the high of day. 168. So there's a little resistance in that 162 to 170 area. See, Y10 just tried to test that downtrend again. But getting rejected so far. STSA testing 550. Looks like it may try to break here soon. Yeah, there goes right through 550. So this dead cat still just a chugging along. And now we just broke through 155 on VISL. Getting a little buying volume back in this, but let's see if it can push up even more. We want to see this get over the high a day and make a new high. This just may be a slow moving play. Unless a lot of volume comes in. See, we're testing 160. A lot of selling there. We're through 160. Oh, no, we're not. I thought we were. There's only a couple of shares left sitting there, but nobody took them out. So 160 holding up. Just needs a little bit more buying volume to push it through 160. Let's take that off. There it goes. Oh, nope. Still didn't get through. Man, they are trying to hold it down at 160. There was only 200 shares again left on the level 2, and it didn't break before more sellers came in. It's gotta get through there soon if it keeps struggling right there. There it goes. There it goes. Finally got through there. Well, like I said, the 162 this high a day and 165, 168, all those areas are kind of heavy resistance, but as slow as this is moving, my price target's probably $2. Because there's not really a ton of resistance between here and $2. I mean, that's a little bit of a push. To $2, but I think it can get up there. It may not get up there soon. It may be a longer hold through the day, possibly. But if it keeps kind of having a push up and then consolidating like it did just through here, and then push up, and then we consolidate sideways again, and then another push up, maybe in a couple hours it could get to 2, unless crazy buying volume comes in. I mean, we got a pretty good push there, but the reason I'm saying that is because back here we got pretty good pushes, and then all the buying volume died off, and it just consolidated. So if that starts to happen again, then I could see it, getting up to that 2 later on. But if you're looking for the quick play out of this, I mean, we did just hit a new high at 163. So, I mean, somewhere, probably 168, 170, maybe 175 would be a decent target. But if you look at the indicator resistance, we don't have any indicator resistance all the way up to 240, and $2 is halfway up there. So that's another reason why I like that area as a profit target for this. Like I said, it may take a while, but that's, like I said, if it continues. Because, see, once again, volume has dropped off, so we're probably going to consolidate sideways again for a little while. Look at that, STSA all the way up to $6. And pushing over $6 a little bit there. Ugh, I hate it when I miss dead cats. Dead cats are rare in the market when those patterns, when you get such a big sell-off like this. Just oversold and you get buying back in. Look at this, all the way up to 640. Like I said, that $7 area right there, that would have been my target. But that's all right, You can't nail them all the time. I just jumped the gun on it. Like a lot of retail traders don't really like dead cats, especially I'm sure a lot of YouTubers will be like, "Why would you buy a stock that has bad news?" Just like one of you guys asked me, but it's this difference in price and then the lack of resistance. Like we have no indicator resistance, we have no candle resistance. Like it's just wide open all the way up to $7, and it's not the end of the world for this stock. Like just because they're, you know, phase 3 failed doesn't mean that it's the end of the world for them. So what happens is after the big panic sell off, investors are like, "Oh, people who like this company are like, look how cheap this is. Like it's so cheap now. I can get back down here at $3 or $3.70." And then they're like, "Oh, I'm just going to keep buying." And then you start getting volume in it from investors wanting to load up on it, and then day traders start seeing it pop up, and then they're like, "Oh wow, this stock is moving, I'm gonna jump in there." So you get like a lot of attention on it, and you continually climb. See, VISL just popped up here to 165. I said that 165, 168 could be a decent price target. But it's almost like dominoes on these dead cat bounces. Like you got the dominoes set up, you see the big drop, the huge oversold drop. Here comes the institutional investor slowly buying a little bit. A few more shorters or sellers trying to get out right through here. And then all the selling's out of here, so now the buying volume starts coming in, and then the price is rising. Now sometimes you'll see dead cats where it's like it was $5 and it dropped to $1. That's not really a whole lot to get excited about. I mean, I mean, it's a big drop, but it's not quite the same as a drop from 22 to $4. You know, that's an $18 drop in pre-market. So that's just panic selling because people are freaking out. Like, oh no, it's the end of the world. Did anybody play STSA? Did anybody get any of that move? I hope somebody did, cause cause I hate that I've jumped the gun and missed it. I could have jumped back in there, but I got on VISL instead, which is decently working out at the moment. You only went on VISL at 151. Well, you're up right now. See, it looks like we may push through 165 again here. One Life's in Rocket. You've been trading Rocket every day this week. But you've been killing it on Rocket. See, Y10 still getting out up at that downtrend. Now, if you are holding VISL, because I said I'm holding it to $2, Um, don't do it because I'm holding it to $2, because I don't know if it'll get to $2. That's just what I'm thinking it could get to. So make your own decisions, because it could just easily just could be it for the stock. OSTK. That's a nasty run there, from 75 all the way up to 85. Nice move there. Overstock. White 10 trying to break this downtrend. What is this? The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times it's tried to break. If it does finally break this downtrend, then I would say it'll probably make a pretty nice move. But that's if it does. See, this pivot point is right there at 155, and then the 9 is at 155. We really want 155 to hold up as support at this point. Because we want to keep building new support if this is going to climb the $2. Because here's the thing, we're not getting a lot of selling. Like, we get the buy-in pops, and then we get some selling, but it's not a ton of selling. Like, there's not been that much selling on this stock so far. And if that continues to happen, you know, that clearly the buying is overweighted the selling, then it'll keep climbing even with these pullbacks. I mean, that could change at any time, but so far that seems to be the trend on this stock. So STSA is consolidating right here below that 650 area. That's KTRA. I'm keeping an eye on this IPO. Just to see if it gets any more attention like it did yesterday. It's not doing anything today really, but it is above that 140 support area. Like I said, VISL just may be a slow long hold. Oh, that little thing cracked. Just slow going. What the hell was that? See 160 acting as resistance again. Well, never mind. As I said that, it got taken out. So we're hitting the downtrend right now, but back here it hit the downtrend several times before it finally made its next leg up, so it may not be quite ready yet. Slow going. Yeah, you're getting a pretty tight wedge on YTN. This is either gonna rip big soon or this is gonna sell off hard soon. 'Cause it's getting squeezed really, really tight. Oh, look at here. We are popping up over this downtrend. Very nice. So if it gets through 165. Still quite a bit of selling at 165. There we go. Right through 165. Well, 168, like I said, it's probably going to be some resistance. 166 is acting as some resistance. It's a slow creeper. It's not that. This is a pretty low float. That's why I don't really understand why it's moving so slow, other than the volume's just coming in and out. It's not. We're not getting one big strong push of volume. Yeah, it's okay. That's what I'm saying. It's okay. I'm fine with it slowly climbing. Like I said, if there's not a lot of selling coming in and on this way up, then you know, might as well just keep riding it up. See, Y10 looks like it may try to test that downtrend one more time. I think if it breaks through 8 this time, I think it's going to be off to the races for this. Because this is extremely low float. That should bring a lot of buyers into it. The break of this little wedgie wedge. But if it gets held up there, it'll most likely dump off after that. I mean, this triangle's getting really tight. And you see it hit right there. It's struggling. It may not. Getting increasing buying volume on the 1 minute, but this candle's red, so if it doesn't turn green, then it may pull back again. Yeah, dropping back down again, so still couldn't break. Interesting. It may get all the way to the tippy tip of this triangle. I mean, this triangle's getting smaller and smaller. I don't know how much smaller it can get. So we got all the way up to 170 on VISL. Overstock all the way up to 85. Nice move there so far. A little higher price stock. Somebody said BNGO. Yeah, it's a nice move so far. It's only a 4-cent move, but on a 50-cent stock, a 4-cent move is still a decent move. But it's running right into this 9 EMA at 55, so well, let's see here. Let's see if this is going to break right here. Still struggling. If it starts holding up 780 as support, then it may get this break here soon. If it drops back below 780, that could be it. No, VISL is fine. It's slowly climbing. It's just stair-stepping up. It's slow, but it's, we're building higher highs and higher lows, so that's a good thing as long as it continues to do that. We can just keep riding up this 9 all the way $2. That's what I said. This may take a while. We just don't want it dropping too much. Like I said, we want it to keep this same trend of leg up, little sell off, leg up, little sell off. We don't want any big sell offs. Just want this nice little slow climb. You see there, YTN trying to hold up that 780. This is trying to break. But it is super sketchy whether it's actually going to break or not. We really don't want this to drop under 160. It's about as low as we want it to drop. Look there. As soon as I said that, buyers came in and held it above 160 for now. Oh, YTN back down again, so this may go all the way to the tippy tip before it makes its move. It's crazy. What are you in at? I've been saying this stock may take a few hours to try to get to $2. And it may not. You know, like I said, that 160, 170 area was really tough resistance. So I mean, you could have locked in there, or locked in half. You got in at 162. Yeah, I'd probably keep a tight stop loss just in case it does start turning around. Because right now we really want to see 160 hold up. That would be a new high or a new low. And you see 3 candles so far. It's hit off of 160, so we want that to hold. The 9 EMA is at 158. Like, this is not really much of a scalp play. Today was a mistake. And just like I said, just keep your stop loss tight so you don't, if it does turn around, you don't take a big loss on it. But we're slowly, you know, we're going to have these pullbacks along the way as we're climbing. The key is that we don't have too big of pullbacks. We want buyers to stay in control of this. And right now we need to stop testing this 160 and get back up and start testing this downtrend again. So you can see it, 160 is trying to hold. That's a key level of support there. If you run that 160 line back there, you can see candles hit there. It held up here as support. Candles hit there as resistance. So this is a key level that we need to hold up to continue on this upward movement. And so we're going to test it again. Getting a little sketchy here. We're getting a little movement. Ooh, up 160 cracking here. So that next support would be 157. Top of this candle, bottom of these few candles. You know, 157 just cracked too, So a lot bigger of a pullback than I'd like to see on this, because now you can see the 9 is not pointing up anymore. It's pointing sideways. On days like this, where it's sketchy, or weeks like this, don't go so big on your positions. You know, I know you like to scalp and stuff, but just go a little bit smaller. Try to take smaller wins, because when the small cap world doesn't have all the volume, and we're not getting big rips. You can see YTN couldn't even rip either. Just go smaller positions. Like, I know you may not make as much if you do get a winner, but you also are not going to lose as much when something does break down like this. Yeah, that's the thing. You gotta stay patient. Like, I know you. You know, you see your account, and you're like, yeah, I got a nice amount of funds. I might be able to get a big win today, but that's not the thought process you want to have. You don't really want to worry about what's in your account, because that's in the back of your head the whole time. That's going to emotionally affect your judgment and your trading, because you're already right out the gate. You're thinking, oh, I've got all this money. I could make a big win today. And then at that point, now you're thinking like, oh, big win, big win, big win. When on a day like today, you shouldn't be taking a very big position size on anything anyway. Or like this whole week. I mean, you know, it's Thursday, and so far we've not had a big ripper. Really, the best move I'd say this week is probably on this dead cat bounce. You know, it's like $1.50 or something like that right there. I mean, YTEN, but not quite as predictable as this dead cat bounce was. The key is to survive until the market gets real hot, and then you let the horses out of the stable. Once we know the small cap market has all the volume and it's hot every single day, we're seeing rip after rip after rip after rip, then you let the horses out of the stable. So we've really not had that for maybe a month now. It's been, you know, it's been pretty sketchy on every stock. Tech stocks are now going red. Let's see what the market looks like. Looking a little green there. SPY did have a pullback. Random pullback on the SPY. Let's see what happens. Or what happened. Let's see. Alright, yeah, I can see that it sharply fell. Thanks for telling us that, but why? I thought maybe there was some PR or something, but I guess not. Oh, this is why. It hit the 9 on the intraday. Or not intraday, but the daily chart. It hit the 9 EMA and it's pulling back. So that is a little scary. It looked like we were rebounding, but still we are in a downtrend on the market. It very easily still could be a little sketchy. Because you can see back here, back in March when we had that original crash, we had a crash, then we had a nice rebound, and then it was dump ski from there. So that kind of looks real similar. This little area here and this little area here look real similar. And you can see if you look back, see, these charts will tell you stuff. This is why you gotta look back at your charts. Look at that. Look what it got hit. Look what it hit on before it had this big pullback. It hit that 9 EMA. So this picture it's showing us is real similar. We'll see what happens over it. We'll see what happens tomorrow and next week, but it's starting to look like we may be hitting a crash. I was saying in the last couple of days that I was thinking it may be coming, but I wasn't sure. But that picture is starting to look pretty similar. Of course, we are above all these indicators, which is the difference kind of right through there than right here. But the fact it just got rejected at the 9 like it did back here is a little concerning. It's a little concerning. And it probably is ruining the momentum on VISL now that the overall market is dropping. Yeah, that 5 minute just opened up under that 157 support area, so I may have to get out of this here soon. See if it can hold up. Alright, so YT and back to the trend line, top of the trend again, got rejected. This is a tight squeeze on this. This is probably going to be a nasty move. Whatever way it goes is going to be pretty gross. Now, if the market closes over the 9 today, then we probably won't have a crash. Still too early to tell on that, but we'll see what happens. This 155 area is trying to hold up as support. Yeah, this is looking done. This is looking pretty done. One 150 is probably going to be my last stand. I don't think I want to hold it down to 147. That would be too much of a drop. It's already quite a bit of a drop. Yeah, that's what I'm sitting here thinking. VISL is looking pretty weak at the moment. I mean, it couldn't hold up that 160. That was not a good thing. That's why I was saying that was a key area of support that needed to hold. Trying to give it a chance here. Oh, let's see. Still needs to get through 8 on Y10. Even though it is trying to break out of the downtrend. I'm gonna give VISL a chance here to try to break out of this downtrend, but if it has another pullback, I'm gonna get out. If you guys want to listen to something interesting about the economy, if you want to learn kind of how the economy works, go to Joe Rogan's channel and look for the one with Peter Schiff. Peter Schiff was on there a month ago on Joe Rogan, and he was talking about everything wrong with the economy and the things that are happening. And like I've said before, Peter Schiff does own his own gold brokerage company, so while he is going to be more on the side of doom and gloom, he is pretty accurate on everything he talks about with the economy and the problems with the Feds printing money and all that. So if you're interested in learning more about the economy and how the markets work and stuff like that, it's a pretty good podcast to listen to. It's like 3 hours long, but it's a perspective I think a lot of people lack when it comes to the economy and the stock market and stuff. Now we're getting held up at this downtrend. I may get out of this. And WKHS cracking today. I'm going to adjust this trend line or this downtrend on this because there's more tops of these candles. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, it still needs to break $8. Let's see if the SPY is done with that little dump or not. Ooh, I don't like the look at this. This does not look like it's going to hold up. It looks like this might be dumping some more here. Might crack through 340 here soon. Yeah, I think I may be getting out of VISL. That's if the SPY dumps again, VISL could dump again as well. DraftKings. What's their it's a DNGS. What's DraftKings ticker symbol? I always post the ticker symbol because I look at so many stocks. I forget ticker symbols all the time. It's hard to keep up with all these different ticker symbols. DKNG, that's what it is. It's on a nasty downtrend right now. I mean, overall, the daily chart looks pretty good. Looks like it's may try to test these highs soon, but if the market's pulling back and you probably don't want to touch it. If the SPY is cracking, look at that. The SPY did crack 340. Yikes. Look at this. This is ugly. Yeah, and VISL's starting to dump too. I'm just getting out. I think I'm... Just trying to hold 150, but... Yeah, I'm just getting out of this. I'm not gonna risk much more. The way the SPY is acting, it's getting kind of ugly in the market. Yeah, you can see the market watch. We're starting to see a little bit more red. Oof. Gross. Gross, gross, gross. See this, let's see, it's got support at 337. But that is quite a dump. And just in this little range. Oh, YTN's starting to pop though. SPY's below the 200 day. Bitcoin's such a new thing. I really don't have an answer for you. Like we can pull a chart up and see, but I really don't know. Like supposedly a lot of Bitcoin people will say that it doesn't follow the market and it's a good hedge against your money. But let's see the 1 hour chart. But it sure does look like it follows the market. The market's dropping and Bitcoin's been dropping as well, so you see it just, let's see what time is at 9:54. So that's when the SPY started dumping. Yeah, so I mean it looks like it definitely follows that the same thing as the market does, because the market's certainly dumping at the same time. But I really don't know. I'm not that big on cryptocurrencies for that particular reason, that there's not a lot of information about cryptocurrencies. They're so new. I hear Bitcoin traders all the time saying it's a great hedge, it's a great store of value, but then you see things like this where the market just and Bitcoin's doing the same thing. So you know. Let's see. I want to check something here. Let's look at some of these gold stocks, see if they're making any moves up while no, they're dumping too a little bit. But it was dumping. Let's see, that one was particularly dumping. See, they all kind of follow the same thing here. Those three were dumping at the market open when the SPY was coming up. So now the gold stocks may start getting some attention. They may start coming back up if the SPY keeps dropping. Overall, though, gold's... Nope, like I said, I'm not a big fan of options. Let's pull up, let's see, where'd that chart go? Let me pull up, let's check out our gold chart and see what it's doing. So do the 1 day here. How am I looking? What is wrong with the... Okay. $10 P. I don't understand the price. I don't or not the price. I don't understand the time on that gold chart. Let's see. Give me the give me this. Let's say that's 6 months. Well, okay, here we go. 1 hour. Okay, now this makes sense. So you can see gold did take a little dip there. 1957 down to 955, but it only dipped $2. So margin is leverage. It's how much money your broker will lend you over what's in your account. So simple, to make it simple, if you're on a margin account, you have $1,000 in your account, and your broker says you have 6-to-1 margin. That means they're going to give you 6 times the amount of money that you have in your account to trade with. So if you have 1,000 with 6-to-1 margin, you're going to be able to trade with $6,000. Now, that gives you more buying power, but it also gives you more losing power. Because if you buy with 6,000 and a stock dumps on you and you lose more than the 1,000 that's in your account, you're going to owe that money. Anything over what's in your account, you're going to owe back to the broker. So if you buy with 6,000 and you lose 6,000, you're going to have to pay back 6,000. Not just the 1,000 that was in your account, but the full 6,000. So margin, that's what margin is. It's basically your broker loaning you money. And it ruins some people's lives. It can be useful if you know how to use it, but if you are not an experienced trader, then you shouldn't be on margin, because you can ruin your life with margin. That's very important. Look at this nasty triangle. It's right in the tip. Yeah, it is incredibly risky. It is very risky. Like you have to know what you're doing, because you see the stories on Reddit and all that of the young kids who got an options account on leverage, and they levered themselves up and did these crazy option puts and calls where they were up like $350,000, and then a couple of days later they're down $350,000, and they just ruined their life because they thought they were some super genius when there's a lot of risk. Yeah, that's one of the stories I was talking about. That kid who killed himself recently because he, didn't understand the dangers of what he was playing with. And you have to understand those dangers. That's why I say, if you are a new trader, just be on a cash account, and that's it, because you can't lose any more money that's in your cash account. You can lose all your money in your cash account, but that's all you're going to lose. You're not going to lose anything else. So, if you only got $500 in there, that's the most you can lose. And that's why it's also important to fund your account with money that you don't care about risking. Because if you put your bill money in there, say you got $500, but that needs to go towards bills or something, well, putting it in your day trade account to trade with is going to mess with you emotionally, because you're going to be thinking about it the whole time, like, I cannot lose this. I cannot lose this 500. It's got to go to my bills, but I got to try to make money with it. That right there is already clouding your thought process, and you're not going to be able to make clear, concise judgment calls. So, very important. Don't trade with money that you can't afford to lose. And if you're a new trader, do not trade with margin. That way you can't lose any more money than what's in your account. because the market is not going anywhere. And you can see VISL there with the big pullback. That's kind of what I was expecting to happen after the SPY started dumping. Where's the SPY at now? So it did try to hold up at 338. So starting to come back up a little bit now, but still, I mean, that's an ugly dump. Well, we'll get a stream about 10 more minutes here. If anybody has any more questions or anything, go ahead and get those in. I'm going to give it 10 minutes because in 10 minutes, this has to either rip or this has to dump on YTN. And I just want to see, just for the sake of small cap world, if we're finally going to get a big rip or not. But it looks like it's going to dump at the current moment. I mean, it's still trying to build up, but try to adjust this a little bit more. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Kodak, you say. Kodak was getting some attention yesterday. I'm not sure why you're alerting it, because you know it's in a downtrend overall there, and then it's in a downtrend right here. I mean, if you draw the downtrend like right there, it kind of is starting to break. But there's not a lot of volume. And you're going to run into $6 resistance. $6 is going to be extremely tough. You can see the tops of these candles right here. All these, bam, 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 hitting 6. So even if you do break the downtrend here, you're going to smack into 6. And with the market being wonky at the moment, I don't think that's a good option. Kodak went to 60 because Trump was pumping it. Trump was on the national news saying Kodak's going to do this thing and all this stuff. So of course, a bunch of investors and retail traders bought it and pushed it up. Just crazy FOMO. That's all it is. It was a big national pump and dump. That's what it was. And then they come out. I think they were saying, the last I heard was that they're not going to do the government deal with Kodak or whatever it was they were supposed to do. I don't even remember at this point. It's been, a while. Yeah, it's a meme stock. Exactly. I mean, there could be some times where you could catch some little rips and stuff on this, but I wouldn't expect it to go up to 60 ever again, or at least not anytime soon. I mean, it could go back up to 60, but it'd have to be some really good stuff happen, and I don't think so. Because before the big pump happened, this stock was only down in the dollar area, $1, $2. So, not really much there. It just was a Trump pump and dump. That's what it was. I'm proud of myself. I like that. I like the way that sounds. A Trump pump and dump. We'll work it out. We'll get there. A Trump dump. Yeah, but I mean, you can't look at it like that. Like you'd have to be a mad person. Like you have to be a mad person to, Yeah, no, there's no. I wouldn't even look at it like that. Nobody could have predicted that was going to run to $60. There's no reason to predict that it would run that high. Unless you're just a crazy optimist that has no common sense in the market, and you'd be one of those
people who think that every stock is going to the moon. Like every time a trade happens, oh, this stock is going to the moon. This stock is going to the moon. This stock is going to the moon, and it rips 15 cents, or it rips 25 cents, or it doesn't rip at all. Like, yeah, if you say that all the time, eventually you will be right on one stock. But how many times were you wrong before you got there? So I mean, it's not a way to look at the markets. It's a bad thought process to think that every stock is going to the moon. Like I was pushing it on VISL looking for $2. But I even said that 169 or 168, 170 area was going to be tough resistance. But I never in a million years would I say this is going to the moon. Like $2 was a stretch. But 170, that was a good, decent price target from that 150 area right there. So you gotta be realistic. So don't think back on it like I could have made so much money. Like you could have, but you probably wouldn't have if you were in that situation, because nobody in their right mind would. You just have to be a lunatic to try to pull that off. And then you might end up ruining your life like the one kid that we were just talking about. But here's the thing. Those big rips will happen. You know, they'll happen again. Probably not on Kodak, but other stocks will get big rips. I've been trading long enough where I know every year there's always some stocks that are going to rip dollars and dollars and dollars. And you can make some profit on those. But the key, like I said, stay realistic and stay consistent. Right now we're in an off time in small caps. So you want to keep your losses small. So that means go smaller position sizes. Don't go all in with your account on these stocks right now because they're not breaking out. Like, why would you risk more money when most of the time these lower or these smaller cap stocks are not breaking out? So that's the thing. You want to stay alive in the market. You want to survive. If you can survive and just consistently get some gains here and there, keep your losses real small, just keep slowly growing your account, and then when the big rips start to happen, then you'll know when to let those horses out of the stable, and then you can make some really big gains and really start to blow your account, or, well, I shouldn't say blow your account up because that's usually negative, but grow your account. Yeah, that's another thing. You know, that Kodak was a halt fest. You get into a halt fest, it's pretty difficult to get in and out, and it's hard to predict what it's going to do in and out of halts. And here comes the dump on YTE, and so still small cap world just not getting it. But that's probably going to be all she wrote for YTEN, at least for now. Look at this guy. This guy just hit a new high a year. I'm going to keep an eye on this IPO. I don't know if I should call it an IPO anymore. It's been almost a month. But I'm going to keep an eye on this guy because this is slowly building up. No, the government is not really the reason that stocks halt. Now, the overall market getting halted, like we saw back in March, yes, that is the Fed's and the government's doing. But a regular halt that we see, like we saw on YTEN today, is basically, well, there's a lot of different halts. There's a lot of reasons for halts. But the one like we saw today and that we see normally, every week, is just a regular halt where the buying volume comes in so fast, or the selling volume comes in so fast that the computers can't match up the orders in time. So it overloads the system, and then it halts the system. So then they have to go back in and manually match all the buys and all the asks together, all the orders, and get them all uh, lined up. So then the computer can start running again. So that's why it takes usually 5 to 15 minutes because of that overload in buying and selling. Because most stocks at Halt are usually extremely low float. And so when that happens, it's too much for a computer system to handle at once. You have too much buying volume. So that's your normal reason for halt. There's halts also for investigations. If a stock has been climbing at, or not been climbing, it's just been going sideways at 50 cents for like 5 years, and then all of a sudden a big spike in volume happens and it spikes up to $15 from 15 cents, or I'm sorry, from 50 cents to $15, then you have people who are like, now wait a second, that's weird. There may be something illegal going on with this company. And then you get a halt where it might halt for months at a time because they're investigating it. Now, the halt that happened back in March where the whole entire stock market halted, that is something they put in to try to prop up the stock market. Like if everybody starts selling all their stocks all at once and we get them big nasty dumps like we were getting in March, they put this law back in, I think it was in 2016 maybe, or 2014. I can't remember the exact year, but they put it in the last 10 years or something like that. And it's supposedly, I say supposedly, and I'll explain why, but supposedly because they want traders to get a chance to think things out. They don't want everybody to panic sell and crash the market. This will keep things from happening like the big stock market crash and the Great Depression and all that. So it's to give traders time to think about what they're doing instead of just panic selling. Supposedly. To me, I really don't like it. Being a big, ideologist of free markets, I don't think it's a good idea. When something's supposed to fail, you let it fail. Just like government bailouts for big companies. Stop bailing these companies out, let them fail. That's the natural order of a free market. Businesses that are run like crap, a stock market that is running like crap because the economy is being ran like crap, let it fail. Let it recycle. Let the cycle start back over. That's fine. That's the way it's supposed to go. So that I really don't agree with them doing. But I don't know. I'm not a politician, so I just think it's a bad idea. Free market is a cycle, and every time the government starts sticking their things in the little cycle, it messes up the cycle. So maybe in 2100. Yeah, let it fail. That's what you got to do. If it's failing, then let it fail. Why do you don't like if you're teaching your kid how to ride a bike, and this is like an off the wall kind of a simile or metaphor for what I'm talking about, but if you're teaching your kid to ride a bike and you run and try to catch them every time that they're about to fall off of their bike, you're not letting them learn how to ride the bike. They're just going to keep falling. They're going to keep falling, and you're going to keep saving them. They need to get hurt one good time, get a couple of scrapes on their elbows, and then they'll understand I have to balance this or it's going to hurt. It's the same thing with companies and markets and everything. You gotta let them get hurt a little bit. You gotta get some bruises and scratches on you so you learn. Oh, I'm doing something wrong. That's the whole point of it. But Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, companies do pump their stocks, but they're not going to sit there and use, they're not going to sit there and pump it with their own buying. That's clearly seen as illegal. What the way they pump their own stocks is they I mean usually the owner has positions, and everybody on the boards, they have shares that they're sitting on, and they'll pay like well, I'm not going to say any specific names of stock services and stuff, but they'll pay different news media outlets and stock services to go out on the internet and stuff, especially nowadays, and say, look at this stock. This stock is going to rip soon. And they pump it like that. But if they were just to come in and buy this, try to push the stock up themselves, then that would get flagged right away. That'd be a pretty dumb way to try to do something illegal. You can buy stocks from a Chinese or European market. Um, I'm not. There is companies that you can buy, like Y10, I think, is a Chinese company that you can buy in the American markets. There is plenty of companies from other countries listed in the American markets, but if you're wanting to buy from those certain markets, from what I've seen, there's like weird ticker symbols for them. I don't even know one off the top of my head, but usually there's some weird stuff like you'll see like YE period. Let's see if I can find one. Yeah, so well, no, that's not going to do. I was just kind of going off of YT. So let's see. IN dot. So yeah, right here you can see, but I have no idea what these stocks are. This is a weird ticker symbol though. You can buy some like this with these weird tickers. I have no idea what those tickers mean though. So that you'd have to look into that because I really don't know other. I just know that there's a bunch of other weird tickers that are from other countries. I don't know. I'm not that familiar with how the Chinese stock market works. I'm only familiar with the American markets, so anything out of the American markets I'm not going to really be able to give you a good answer on, to be honest. Because and the reason why I don't care about other markets that much is because when you have to transfer the currency, like if say that's the case where you're buying in the Chinese stock market, you most likely will have currency transfer from where you'll have to transfer your dollars over to whatever the Chinese currency is, and then you run into the issue of how much is your US dollar worth against, the Chinese dollar. So this is the USD, because the values, see, that's the thing. This is where, so here you go. USD and the Hong Kong dollar or whatever it is. Currency pairs, and this is the Forex market. Currency pairs, the value that you have in that currency. Because remember, I was talking about this the other day. Fiat currencies are nothing. They're backed by the government's word. That is it. So the US dollar can drop, and that can make the Hong Kong dollar possibly rise. And this is hypothetical. I'm not exactly sure at the moment, but I'm just saying the currency pairs can move. So if you're trading in a foreign market while you're in America, your US dollar has to be switched over into that other currency, but those two currencies, are competing for value, and say that your money's over here and this currency that you're trading with drops a whole bunch. Now you got to transfer it back to the dollar, which means you got to buy back those paper dollar values. So now you're losing money there. So it's very tricky. It's very easy to lose a lot of money trading in other foreign markets when you have the currency transfer. I hope I explained that clearly, but it's really tricky. It's not when you understand it, but it's tricky to explain if you don't know about Forex and all that. But value is relative to a bunch of different factors. Currency is nothing. Currency is just garbage at this point. It's just paper. And the value of that paper can change depending on a ton of different factors. The value of your money is the labor and time that you put into it. No, not even close. The coronavirus dump was not even a dump, really. Like, it's not even close. But I'm about to call it a day, guys. You can look here. Just go back and look at the SPY on the max chart. Right here was the coronavirus drop. This was it right here. And it wasn't even that big a deal. The stock market was way lower. 2008, big dump there. You know, the housing market crash. Like, but in the retrospect of the entire market, you know, that coronavirus dump was nothing. So study, learn, go back and look at the history of all of the stock market. The Great Depression, Tulip Mania, that's one of Daniel B's favorites to talk about. The Great Recession, Black Monday. I don't know, there's a bunch of different things. The biggest dump would be the Great Depression, I would imagine. But I don't know what the chart would have been, because this is not going to show back that far, most likely, because the computers and the internet didn't exist back then. Because this is the max chart on the SPY, or this is when the SPY come out. So you'd have to look. Just go Google it. Go Google what's the biggest dump in stock market history, and they'll tell you. Yeah, probably 1930. But yeah, stuff like that, just Google it. Oh, look here. STSA starting to come back up again. It may get to that $7 area. Alright, guys, I'm going to call it a day. We will be back tomorrow. We'll see what happens on a Friday. This has not been the prettiest week for small caps, but we'll see what happens. So you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe out there. Until next time.